One Annie back, and you already know what time it is for. It is time for the seasonal anime video. To look back on what spring of 2022 has brought us and what the upcoming summer season will bring us as well. To look back onto the spring season first, because there were some absolute bangers this time around. There were some very good ones, and some that I was a tad bit disappointed with, and I'll get to that one in a minute. To get easy food off the plate first, we're going to be talking about Spy X Family. Yes, I pronounced the X in family. What are you going to do about it, Hunter X Hunter fans? Only thing you have gotten in many years is a drawing of a tree on Twitter. What are you going to do? Attack me? Spy X Family was going to take the world by storm. No matter what, if you were to read the manga, you knew it would, and just by the pure look of it on its own, just anyone could assume that this was going to be the anime for this season or this time around. And I think one of the reasons why Spy X Family does so well, because there's multiple reasons. The charming characters that come within the series, the overarching story puts obviously puts a bigger thing at question, the whole having to stop a war from being broken out. I think it's because they give us such a big thing right off the bat, something such as a war is going to break out and it has to be stopped, and then they completely 180 it into just a goofy slice of life with some shonen aspects. I think that is one of the reasons why Spy X Family really sunk in deep with a lot of people, because everyone was just kind of sick and tired of stress. And when they switched it around and showed us goofy Anya doing the smug look to take over the world, you're finally a waifu that's not a high school student. Can we just get some shout outs to all the waifus that are not high school students? Like, fuck. Twilight being an absolute Chad, just doing whatever he can to stop this war and take care of his so-and-so family. It's like for a slice of life, it's so good. And there's already been a confirmed season 2. There's not really much you can say about Spy X Family because there's already been so much said about it. You can break it down. Anya cute, show funny, your top waifu. Moving on from Spy X Family, one of the shows that I want to give a quick honorable mention to. There's two I want to give like a little quick honorable mention to, because these are definitely not the shows I recommend at the top of this list. And out of these two, there's one that, like I said, I was a little disappointed with, but we're gonna start with that one first. Showcase Shoujo No Version Road. Now, No Version Road it's an isekai. The spin that they put on this isekai was they are stopping the Japanese people that get transferred isekai'd into this world. They're called otherworldlies, and their whole goal is to stop it, which that's a pretty cool concept, because other people have been isekai'd and they caused 4 massive natural disasters in this world with their powers. And the fact that they have an execution that comes and takes them out, it was a new spin on things, and I was really excited to see where they're going to go with it. But I don't want to spoil anything, because there are some things that are very enticing about it, especially what they show at the end of the last episode that ties into them obviously making a new season. At the end of episode 6, they do give you kind of like a little teaser of some things, like with one of the second main characters. And when they showed that teaser, I was a little off put, I'm not gonna lie, because it then became very easy to predict some things that were going to happen. It was already kind of decently easy to predict a few things with how some of the characters' powers work and the overall setting of everything. So if I really had to say anything about No Version Road, go into it not trying to overthink. I ruined this show for myself because my massive brain on its own was able to predict some things that was going to happen, and it kind of made it sad, because I like the concept of trying to stop isekai people, like isekai overpowered people. It's a cool concept. So do give it a watch. Don't let this like deter you. Just go into it watching it to just watch it. Just simple as. The second one I wanted to mention is Tomodachi Game. And Tomodachi Game is about 5 friends who get put into a debt repayment game, 3 boys and 2 girls. And just from the thumbnail alone, when I first saw this, it's very easy to tell that this gives off very like early 2010s, 2000s vibe of like kind of big brain Death Note things. And obviously there's going to be a love triangle. Like, these were things I was thinking before I was watching the show. And I'm not trying to be like, oh yes, I am so superior and I can think about everything before that even happens. Just looking at this, I was like, okay, I want something kind of mind-numbing, something fun to watch, something to have a good chuckle at. And with these kind of shows where it's a debt repayment game because somebody from their class stole $2,000, you obviously know there's going to be a lot of drama. It's a psychological game. And I actually found myself decently surprised because I was really enjoying the show. Actually, what I thought was going to happen was I thought they were going to stretch out like a love triangle scenario and like classic cliches of like best friends, like in this one girl, the classic cliches that come with psychological anime. They did it within like the first few episodes. I want to say like episode 3 and 4, and they got them right out of the way really quick. And I was like, not just going to be about them like confronting each other about some like past love or things like that. As I started watching, obviously it is about them confronting, figuring out who the traitor is, but it almost goes a bit too over the top with how edgy it gets with the main character. But it was something I definitely needed because with Spy X Family, I needed some edge in there as well. I can't just watch the wholesome Spy X Family. And Tomodachi Game, it had some actually very surprising parts that I wasn't really thinking of. If I was watching No Version Road the way that I was watching Tomodachi Game, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot better. Just not thinking, trying not to predict anything, just having a good time, seeing where the edginess gets, seeing where the psychological games can get played, where this main character can make his plays to outwit the others. It was a good time to watch, and I am actually kind of looking forward to the next season because they did leave it off on a cliffhanger that I would like to know where it left off. And I'm not giving Tomodachi Game like an outstanding rating. I think it's just a middle of the road solid 5 out of 10. It's the perfect edgy show if you want to have a good laugh with your mates. For the anime that I have been enjoying the most during the spring season was Summertime Render. Welcome to Tropical ReZero. Grab your coconut, put on your sunglasses, and sit back as your reverse death kicks in. I say it's Tropical ReZero because it kind of is. It does have Return by Death, but in a very kind of different way. The whole backstory with Summertime Render is, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can with this show because I think like I said, I think it's one of the best ones of this season. Yes. Ushio, who is Shinpei's childhood friend, has passed away. Shinpei has come back to his hometown of Wakayama and reunites with his childhood friends and families. And as the funeral is happening for his dear friend Shio, his best buddy tells him that they found strangle marks around her neck. And then he meets an old man later on the island and tells him something about a shadow sickness. And the shadow sickness is when you see a shadow, a doppelganger of yourself, it's only a matter of time before that shadow comes and kills you and tries to take your spot, so then it can then kill your family. And then it starts going even crazier. Like, the shadows aren't just like a sickness. There's a reason why they're there. There's shadows that maybe aren't bad. There's characters with like multiple personalities. It was really shocking from the thumbnail. I thought it was going to be like a coming of age story, maybe something like Anohana, because the way that the description starts out is, upon hearing of Ushio's death, Shinpei returns to his hometown of Wakayama City and reunites with his childhood friends and families, and the funeral's going smoothly, but under the surface, something strange is brewing on the island, and that's where it got me hooked. I thought it was just going to be about them remembering their friend, maybe some love romance stuff here and there with a few different people, but with what they gave me, a supernatural mystery shonen, it shocked me. One thing that I can mention about this anime specifically, because I've recently been listening to a lot of anime openings because, you know, music be banging. And one thing I realized that a lot of anime don't do nowadays is they don't really take risk with the openings that they use for certain shows. Like they always have to fit what the show is, if that makes sense. Like if it's a show that looks very bubbly and very upbeat, it has to have a very upbeat thing. Tomodachi game has a very kind of dark, gritty, kind of mysterious like opening to it. But Summertime Rendering has a opening that almost melancholy, I would say. It's just it doesn't really seem like it would fit the vibe. The imagery does, but the song itself, the ending, like the little end guitar riff, I love that. It's so good. Just that little, it gets stuck in my head. Everything about this show seems like it was kind of, I know this sounds very, like I'm stretching it, but with the opening, with the overall plot itself, it kind of feels like this one was like a risk taken when this anime was being made. The studio that animated it, OLM, they did an amazing job. There's a few episodes left before it ends, and if it ends very well, then this is probably going to be, like, in my opinion, obviously Spy X Family and possibly Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 are going to be nominated anime of, are there seasonal anime awards? I know there's the yearly ones. I don't remember, but I would definitely nominate Summertime Render for spring anime. It's very entertaining, and I think you should all give it a try. Now, moving on to the anime of the upcoming season. The first one that caught my eye because, one, I have heard very good things about the manga, and I actually have picked up the manga myself. I have yet to read anything about it, so I don't know too much about how the story goes, but just listen to the description. Wrecked by insomnia, the Wanderlust Code is driven into a moonlit street every night in an aimless search for something he cannot seem to name. His nightly ritual is marked by purposeless introspection until he meets Nazua, who might just be a vampire. Ko's new companion could offer him dark gifts, a vampire's immortality, but they're conditions that must be met. Ko can sink his teeth into vampirism, but he'll have to go and discover and find out how far he is willing to plunge himself before he can heed the call of the night. And as I was reading this, I thought, you know, maybe just a nice adventure kind of shonen, wanting to become a vampire because insomnia. You're wrecked by insomnia. You stay up during the night. Why not become a vampire? You know? But the line right here that says he'll have to discover how far he's willing to go to satisfy his desires before he can heed the call of the night. I read that and I thought, maybe it's a bit more. Maybe it's actually just a coming of age story, really figuring out what was missing from your life. Obviously, he was driven into the moonlit streets trying to find something he can't name. So maybe it's about figuring out what you really need in your life to make it full. The way that I'm thinking about this, I'm building a story up in my head that sounds very interesting and different from what it could possibly be. And it makes me very excited to see it. Okay, I saw this one because I read the quick little description that shows up before you actually click on it. I thought it was just gonna be a romance anime about rediscovering your love after a few years of losing the one that you love. I will explain once I read this. My stepmom's daughter is my ex. What? Why is that the title? Whatever. A boy and a girl started dating in middle school. They were lovey-dovey at first, but due to misunderstandings over something trivia, they started to feel more frustrated than excitement. In the end, they broke up. When they graduated, however, Mizuto and Yuma meet again in a surprising way before they start high school. That right there is what I read, which made me click this. So I thought it was going to be about rediscovering your love with the person that you used to love but lost interest. So I thought it was going to be something, you know, maybe kind of wholesome, maybe very uplifting about rediscovering what you like about a person. Then I read the second part. Obviously, I'm the older brother here. Obviously, I'm the older sister here. The the children of their parents' now new spouse is the ex they just broke up with. Out of consideration for their parents, this former couple comes up with the sibling rule, which is whoever starts seeing the other as potentially attractive loses. But they sometimes run into each other right after the bath. They're also alone on their way to and from school. Come on, man. This could have been something like soul searching, like deeper meaning, really understanding what love is. But no, you give me this. I'm gonna watch it. Quotation marks. Get me out of here. I'm leaving. Lucifer and Biscuit's hammer. One day, unremarkable college student Uyaha meets a talking lizard who asks for his help, saving Earth from a crisis. Before he can refuse, Uha is turned into a member of the Beast Knights and is given a ring that makes his physical powers domain control. He is then immediately attacked by an enemy, but just as all seems lost, he is saved by the girl next door, Samudra. But it turns out that Samudra isn't really a savior of any kind. She's actually a demon lord who wants to conquer the Earth. Down for the absurd strength and evil charms, Uhia becomes her devoted servant and acts to support her wicked schemes. You know what? I can get down with my man. Yo, she's a strong girl. See some evil charms to it. Just wants it. I respect it. You were meant to save the Earth, but in the end, I can respect it. I can say I can understand saying fuck the Earth. I want the strong lady. I'm down for it. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer? Yeah, give it to me. When I saw this one, I was very interested in it because it was labeled as music, and I love music anime. I love K-On! And I love the one where they sing God Knows. I cannot remember the name of it right now for the life of me. It's right here up on screen. You know the one. And if you don't, go watch it. It's a banger. It's a classic banger. This one jumped out to me. It is a movie as well. I do want to say this. One thing I find about anime movies is that I have a bit of a harder time watching them by myself because, you know, it's basically one series, obviously, in an hour or 2 hour span. And I feel like I could watch like 3 different series of a new season, you know, because if say there's like 3 episodes out of like 3 new shows, I could watch all those instead of watching one movie. And I know that's not a very good way to think because I'm probably missing out on a lot of good movies, but this one caught my eye. I don't know. I think just the bright colors really got me to it in the tag for music. But when the beautiful and mysterious Shino transfers to Kibite High School, she quickly becomes popular for her open-hearted personality and exceptional athletic talent. But she turns out to be an AI in the testing phase. What? Shin's goal is to bring chronic loner Satom happiness, but her strategy is something no human would expect. She serenades Satom in the middle of class. After finding out that Shion is an AI, Satom and her childhood friend, engineering geek Thomas, steadily warm up to the new student, along with the popular, attractive Go-chan, a strong-willed Aya, and judo club member Thunder. This man's name is Thunder. You know he is judo club material. Look at this man, absolutely bricked up. They become more and more moved by Shion's singing voice and in earnest, even as her antics bewilder them. But what Shion does for Satom's sake ends up involving them all in some serious pandemonium. Get ready for a heartwarming story of a not quite ready marketable AI. This sounds like a sweet time. Sounds like a sweet time. Probably gonna have banger music. I'm just saying that flat out. You label it as music. You tell me there's an AI that sings. Vivi. This is just Vivi, but not future. This is Vivi if everything was down, chillin', good, chillin' vibe. I'm gonna give it a watch. I'm gonna give it a little peek. And I do just want to give a quick little shout out to 2 shows that really surprised me. One, a 2D Ruby made by Shaft. I never thought I would see the day that Ruby would get a 2D adaptation, especially made by such a studio. Because I recently went back and was watching the Ruby seasons, and I really remembered how much I loved the season. So when this got announced, I was like watching the 5th season. When this got announced, I was like, hey yo, I am 100% down. So this really kind of like shocked me and made my day, because it's cool to see that Ruby is still getting a lot of the love that it deserves. But also, Devil's a Part-Timer season 2. Who would have thunk it? Like, after years, finally we're getting the second season that we have deserved, and this is the only one we deserve. We don't look at the other ones that need sequels. We don't look at those. No. It's just really cool to see some shows, some older shows, actually getting second seasons. But that does kind of worry me, because I really hope they're not just gonna maybe run out of, because there's obviously some anime that are made that are just original ideas that are made during whenever. So I really hope that maybe some original animes aren't just tossed aside to make new seasons of stuff, because I want to see some original ideas. I want to see some risk taken, and of course I want to see second seasons of shows that deserve it, but sometimes I would rather have something new than a second season of something. But that's just me. But aside from that, as always, thank you for watching. This has been a very fun experience, being able to experiment with all of the different stuff I've been making videos on. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch down in the description below. And on Twitch, I have been streaming a lot more because I did get a new PC setup. So we're gaming over there. Come on over and watch us game. Watch us game. Have a good time. Aside from that, dude, hit the like, bell, and subscribe if you want to keep seeing me do what I do, because I am honestly having such a blast, like I said, doing this. And I'm not gonna go into the whole YouTuber thing of, oh my god guys, thank you, it's been amazing, because one, I think that's a bit over the top and a little crazy, but I just do want to say thank you all for giving me the opportunity to actually follow my passion and do what I want to do. And as always, thank you for watching. See ya.